Good evening, Mayor Atchison, Mayor Pro Tem Sites, and City Councilors. I'm Andrew Spurgeon, Long Range Planner in the Community Development Department. I want to thank you for this opportunity to introduce you to the draft 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Some of what you will see tonight is similar to the presentation we provided to City Council on November 23rd, but we are now in a position to make a draft available for City Council review and for the community to review over the coming months. We also delivered hard copies to each of you to facilitate your review. Tonight's presentation will orient you to the organization of the plan as you review it over the coming months, identify key themes, and identify a timeline to receive feedback on the plan from the community, and in a later City Council study session to further refine the plan prior to adoption. As City Council spends time reviewing the plan over the coming months, I want to identify several takeaways for you since I realize the overall size of the plan is daunting. The draft plan results from priorities identified in stakeholder interviews, including all of the current City Council, as well as in-person and online community engagement, and content was further refined based on those who completed the meeting in the box activity during the pandemic. Like the sustainability plan, the 2040 Comprehensive Plan is a high-level citywide policy document organized around Westminster forward themes to support alignment and policies. The plan increases the focus on neighborhoods and the character of development beyond a parcel-by-parcel view of land use planning. Land use character types are mapped in the land use diagram and function as one policy within the overall framework of the plan. And this has been tested with the water supply plan and evaluated for fiscal impacts at a citywide scale. As the comprehensive plan was developed alongside the sustainability plan and water supply plan, the comprehensive plan recognizes the sustainability and resiliency of existing neighborhoods becomes a more central focus as the city nears build out. In 2018, the city launched Westminster Forward, the coordinated community engagement process to support the comprehensive plan, Parks, Recreation, Libraries plan, sustainability plan, transportation and mobility plan, water supply plan, and a companion effort, Code Forward, to update standards for new development. 9 planning themes organize content for both the sustainability plan and comprehensive plan to establish overarching policies to coordinate with other Westminster Forward plans. The sustainability plan addresses 7 of the 9 themes within the purple box as shown on this slide. The comprehensive plan focuses on the 6 themes in the green box: transportation and mobility, health and wellness, economic resilience, housing and neighborhoods, land use and development, and utilities and resources. The forthcoming transportation and mobility plan and Parks, Recreation, Libraries plan will both take a deeper dive into those topics while recognizing citywide policies introduced in the sustainability and comprehensive plans. Code Forward, meanwhile, will be the avenue to establish more fine-grained standards for land use development, sustainable design, and housing. The 2040 Comprehensive Plan will consider changed economic conditions since 2013, which is when we adopted our existing comprehensive plan. This includes evolving employment and retail trends. The plan will also consider the effects of slowing population growth, which has been less than 1% a year since 2010, and recently is showing reduced household sizes. The plan will consider completed transit improvements by virtue of the B line and the Flatiron Flyer that have facilitated access to residential and employment opportunities in the Denver-Boulder corridor. The plan will reflect the citywide commitment to sustainability. The plan will address needs identified through the Affordable and Workforce Housing Strategic Plan, including affordable housing, new product types, and senior housing. The plan will consider innovative technologies changing how and where residents live and work, including the closure of long-established national chains, new transportation options, and remote work, all of which are changing the suburban landscape. The plan reflects a greater interest in health, wellness, and support for existing neighborhoods. Finally, the plan will include strategies to address changing demographics, including the more than doubling of the population over age 55 since year 2000, and the growing recognition of the Latinx and Asian communities, with 22% of the city's residents now identifying as Hispanic. The community engagement summary provided to City Council on February 1st as an information-only item described how the bulk of community engagement occurred in 2019 with outreach activities for all of the Westminster Forward plans and interactive activities to help inform plan policies. Several common themes emerged from public engagement, stakeholder interviews, and prior discussions with Planning Commission and City Council. A preference for mixed-use development patterns, but not everywhere, only at the appropriate locations. An overall preference for single-family homes, but also an interest in different residential format types and senior housing, and for placement of housing to be supported by nearby activities such as parks, restaurants, and neighborhood-oriented retail. There was an interest in addressing changing demographics and being inclusive, the need to adapt retail areas to changing shopping preferences, and recognizing the need to be more sustainable and plan for a finite water supply, coming in the form of planning for infrastructure and opportunities for greater water conservation. Based on Westminster Forward input, 4 guiding principles for the plan have been identified as the overarching concepts for developing the plan. This structure will help ensure the spirit of community engagement is maintained throughout the plan. These guiding principles align with the city's vision to be a thriving community of safe neighborhoods and beautiful open space that is sustainable and inclusive. Thriving City refers to Westminster's unique identity, its diversity, inclusivity, and its economic resiliency. Healthy Places refers to how we embrace the outdoors through the parks and open space system and the drive to be a sustainable and safe community. Great Neighborhoods acknowledges our well-designed and attractive neighborhoods with housing opportunities for a range of incomes, age groups, and lifestyles. Managed Growth recognizes Westminster's maturity relative to development, its multimodal transportation network, and our responsibility with resources and infrastructure. To help City Council review the document over the coming months, this slide shows the basis of the plan's policy chapters organized around the Westminster Forward themes, as well as cross-cutting topics that are peppered throughout the plan. This organization is similar to the sustainability plan. Other content in the plan includes an introduction explaining existing conditions, demographics, and challenges for the plan to address, such as water growth and infrastructure. Community Places provides profiles for 10 key areas to describe character-defining elements such as view preservation, parks or trails, or other unique characteristics. Plan Administration explains how the city will administer and interpret the plan and outlines related tools such as zoning and capital improvements, and establishes a regular reporting process back to City Council. A glossary of terms has been added to facilitate interpretation of plan concepts. Community indicators establish 22 quantitative measurements to assess plan progress, such as water use per capita and population trends. An analysis of potential annexation areas is included that inventories considerations for each when or if annexation is pursued at a later time. Separately, an implementation program will identify strategies and actions to implement the plan. This slide is another slide intended to help assist with reviewing the plan, showing its general structure. The guiding principles of Thriving City, Healthy Places, Great Neighborhoods, and Managed Growth inform development of the entire document. Westminster Forward themes are the basis for the plan's primary chapters. Under each theme is a narrative of background information describing past successes, organizational capacity, and key issues to address. Following each narrative is a series of goals with broad statements to help realize the guiding principles, as well as policies to establish direction to carry out the goals. Land use is just one policy within the plan and must be interpreted in conjunction with other plan policies on topics such as housing, employment, transportation, and recreation. While the plan provides the framework for future decisions on planning-related matters, Code Forward will provide an avenue to develop more specific standards for land use, housing, and sustainable design. The development of the plan document and actions to implement the plan are being identified, but these will reside in a separate implementation program that can be revisited and updated on a more regular basis. In terms of focusing on the future with the year 2040 outlook, one of the plan's objectives is to support great neighborhoods. And one of the methods to achieve this goal is to refocus the land use discussion on the creation and maintenance of neighborhoods instead of considering land use on a parcel by parcel basis. Therefore, rather than focusing on individual land uses, the 2040 Comprehensive Plan focuses on the character of development and the overall look and feel of an area, such as low density or higher density, urban or suburban, and the plan will illustrate this visually to ensure reader understanding. The draft land use map identifies 14 different character types listed on the right side of this slide to graphically represent the proposed plan policies on housing, economic resilience, neighborhoods, transportation, utilities, and recreation. The findings of the water supply plan were presented to City Council at the March 15th study session. As described during the water supply plan presentation, the draft comprehensive plan was coordinated with the water supply. If you will remember from that presentation, the effects of weather and conservation trends are more significant drivers than land use on our future water supply. The proposed land use map maintains over 98% of the city's land area with existing or equivalent land use types. The remaining balance, roughly 1.5%, is split with 173 acres proposed for lesser residential density or reduced commercial intensity, and 140 acres proposed for an increase in residential density or greater commercial intensity. Financial resiliency was identified as an objective for the plan. Therefore, in addition to correlating land use with water supply, a fiscal impact analysis was conducted to determine net revenues and/or deficits resulting from build-out. This analysis identified a positive revenue position for the city. As a stress test, the model separately tested a scenario with only the residential development occurring and no new commercial development. This scenario was roughly neutral with neither a positive nor negative fiscal outcome. For this reason, a balanced land use pattern with a mixture of development types will best support future resiliency. In consideration of the sustainability plan strategies and water supply plan findings, the 2040 comprehensive plan recognizes the sustainability and resiliency of existing neighborhoods becomes a more central focus as the city nears build out. With this slide, I want to take a moment to share key topics we heard from discussions with the community, Planning Commission, and City Council that result in proposed new plan content and additional items city staff has identified over the past year of the pandemic based on needs of the community and potential actions to ensure resiliency for future unknowns. These updates from the existing plan include a greater focus on the long-term nature of the plan, targeting year 2040 to align with Denver Regional Council of Governments Metro Vision, and to be clear that strategic and operational plans are the appropriate avenue to deal with day-to-day issues. Reinvestment in existing neighborhoods and housing stock was identified to shift away from the heavy focus on new development and better support our residents and provide safe housing for all segments of the community. Healthy living, including food access, was identified before the COVID-19 pandemic, but 2020 made this need even more critical to address. Also, as mentioned earlier, the need to address changing demographics, including the doubling of the population over age 55 since year 2000, shrinking household sizes, and the significant size of the Latinx Hispanic community. Content is proposed relative to human services, such as homeless and special needs populations. For example, 10.5% of the city's population has at least one disability, and 40% of those over age 65 have a disability. Water conservation is embedded within the water supply discussion instead of being treated as a separate consideration. Also included are strategies to address financial resiliency in future years and establishing metrics to assess plan progress, a regular reporting program to City Council, and implementation programming or new content as compared to the existing comprehensive plan. This slide shows the proposed timeline for completing review of the plan. Staff proposes additional public engagement following tonight's introductory study session. The draft plan and summary is available for review and comment in an interactive online platform that went live last Thursday. The draft is set up to provide an interactive tour, topical questions for the reader to respond to, and the ability to annotate the draft document with comments. I checked prior to the meeting and it looks like some members of the community are already in there working on it, so this appears to be working. We also have provided hard copies of the draft plan to both the College Hill and Irving Street libraries for those who prefer to work in printed form. A range of communication avenues, including the Westminster Forward email list, the city's social media, displays at municipal facilities, and similar avenues will be used to raise awareness of the plan. As noted in the community engagement summary provided to City Council on February 1st, even prior to the pandemic, online participation greatly exceeded in-person event attendance. For example, the 2 different people, places, and plans events in fall of 2019 drew 75 participants across 2 different events, while the companion online survey yielded 598 responses. After going out for additional community discussion, we will come back to City Council to review the plan, receive feedback, and update the plan as appropriate. After that, we would schedule Planning Commission public hearing to adopt the plan, to make a recommendation on adopting the plan, and then back to City Council for public hearing and formal plan adoption. Following plan adoption, implementation of the plan would begin with the initial focus being on completion of Code Forward to ensure it supports the comprehensive plan as well as other Westminster Forward plans. A regular reporting process is included with the plan, and this will begin also as part of plan implementation. So again, just as a reminder of the key takeaways, the plan results from extensive community engagement, from stakeholder interviews, in-person and online events, and prior discussions with Planning Commission and City Council. Like the Sustainability Plan, the Comprehensive Plan is a high-level citywide policy document organized around Westminster Forward themes. The plan is long-range in nature with goals and policies to support the future needs of the community, anticipating year 2040. The plan increases the focus on neighborhoods and the character of development rather than a parcel-by-parcel view of land use. The land use has been coordinated with the water supply plan and evaluated for fiscal impacts at a citywide scale. In consideration of the sustainability plan strategies and water supply plan findings, staff recognizes that existing neighborhoods become a more central focus as the city nears build out. We look forward to hearing additional feedback from the community and input from City Council to help update the plan and refine the plan to ensure it's a useful document for the next 20 years. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for the opportunity to present.